All right, Dirty Laundry League. We're here with the weekly washing. I think this is episode 3 or 4, and I'm with the infamous Garrett Hart. Garrett, how are you feeling today?
Well, Omar, it's shaping up to be another year where we're looking towards a bust rather than a breakthrough.
Oh yeah, I mean you typically have some bust seasons. You've had some breakthrough seasons, but I think more so bust. And you tend to say injuries get the best of you in that. And I'll say that that has happened to you in the past. But how you feeling about today's matchup against me? I mean, you've already had somebody play, but still a lot left to go.
Yeah, I'm not doing very great because it seems the extra wide receiver this year is really throwing a monkey wrench into my system because Keenan Allen's bum ass had to get injured first game of the season and can't recover.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at your team right now. You got Noah Brown and Nelson Aguilar in your lineup, and I don't think going into this season that I would ever even think about those guys being in your lineup. But you never know. I mean, Noah Brown has actually been doing pretty well. Cooper Rush and Nelson Aguilar, I don't know, he could pop off randomly. Um, yeah, I actually like my chances against you today. We'll see how it goes. I think we're 1-1. We're in 3 leagues together, and we're 1-1 against each other. So this will break the tie. Um, how are you feeling other than this week? How are you feeling about your team as a whole through 4 games?
Well, like I said, the wide receivers has really let me down this year. Um, And really, running backs haven't been as big of an impact as what they've been in the past years. So I think really it's been a wide receivers game this year so far. We saw some breakouts, but not a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think quarterbacks are playing a big part this year as well. If you have a top quarterback, it kind of helps. I mean, you see teams at the top in the playoffs have good quarterbacks. Dustin's 4-0 and has Mahomes. Dalton is 3-1 and has Justin Herbert. Nathan has Jalen Hurts, who's been playing great. So, and then you got Cole with Lamar Jackson, and Seth has the only one up there with kind of an average quarterback with Russell Wilson. But he also has Jared Goff, who's been playing great. So I agree with you there. Running backs are kind of tough to judge. Um, like for example, I have Derrick Henry, Najee Harris. Now last week I didn't win. So I mean, if you'd actually I did win, but I didn't put up very many points. I've gotten very lucky. But you're sitting at 2-2, the eighth seed right now. 6 teams get in our playoffs, so I mean you're not out of it yet. Just need you guys to get healthy, and who knows what can happen. And, do you think you can see yourself in the playoffs with the team you currently have?
Um, well, like I said, I really think it's going to come down to if my receivers can get healthy and then perform. And right now, I haven't saw a lot of breakout performances from the Steelers side with either of their receivers because I know they've been having quarterback issues. If they can get that straightened out, and you get some more consistency in that end, maybe I could see something. But yeah, it's a kind of a long shot at this point, I would say, for the Dirty Laundry League for me.
Well, your boy Kenny Pickett's getting the start today, so hopefully he puts up some numbers for my Steelers. Speaking of your team trying to improve, you're more of a quiet user, compared to some guys. You don't like to trade that much. You don't accept very many trades unless you see it completely fair if it favors you, in your opinion. So being a quiet user, I mean, do you see yourself making offers to improve this team, or are you just going to try to let it roll out?
Um,
We'll let it roll out and,
I've
hope, and see if people offer you first.
yeah, really, it was more. I was hoping that some of my running backs would have done better, so I had more pieces to offer. But at this point, I think I'm kind of stuck in the role unless I got some people that step up in that category.
Well, speaking of like settling down, I'm thinking about Nathan getting last place last year. He still has to do his punishment in the beer mile, and you said that you would do it with him. Are you still down to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I told him I would, so you're only as good as your word, in
I
my
mean, that's
opinion.
pretty honorable right there. I would have never done that, but I mean, you saw how bad your team was, and you stepped up to be there for him. and
I slipped
I,
in.
I I can't wait to see you guys throw up. That'll be fun. Hopefully, we can get it done soon.
Won't
Um,
be the first time, right?
yeah. So, how much NFL do you actually watch?
Well, this year I've been traveling a lot, so it's been difficult on Sundays to watch uh, any football, but I get a game or two in probably. or at least highlights from games in the week. But that's about it. I don't have enough time to sit down and watch everything on Sunday.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, but I mean, a lot of us love to just watch football, and that Mr. Garrett's always busy, something to do with his fiance or work or his yard or his dog. He's always got something going on, and football isn't number one in his life, and that's honorable, but it's number one in our lives in some of our lives through this time of year. So credit to you, Garrett, for being an honorable man to your woman and dog and house, but some of us just love football that much more, I guess. I want to start a new segment with you, Garrett. I want you to go look at the standings for me, and we're going to do a little segment called Contender or Pretender. Um, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to give you a couple teams. You tell me if you think they're actually contenders or they're just pretenders. Some of the teams that's in the playoffs. So we're going to start with Team Nation. That's going to be Nathan's team. This guy has gotten last place 3 years in a row. He's gotten last place 3 years in a row, and he's 3-1. He should be 4-0. He started the wrong guy against Dustin one week, and he would have won that week, putting him at 4-0 and Dustin at 3-1. But he has the third most points scored out of the top three. And so, if you would take a look at his team, do you think he's a contender, or he's going to eventually fall and be a pretender?
You know, Looking at his team, I think he has some strong players, but also, his bench could be better, but he's not as bad as me in that category. I see he's got some people out. Probably could have helped him there, but you know, it doesn't take much to throw your season into chaos as far as people dropping, especially with such a large team, amount of players you have to play.
So, is he a contender or a pretender?
I think right now he's a contender.
You think he's a contender? You think he's a contender with Miles Sanders and Ezekiel Elliott as running back position? You think he's going to stay sticking it out, being a top team?
Well, like I said, I feel like, as long as you got someone that puts up 10 points a game in running back category, that's all you really need. Right now it's been a wide receivers game.
You have a point
I
there.
see you got
Jalen Hurts is playing great.
Cooper Kupp, Mike Williams, he's kind of a question mark. If Keenan Allen gets healthy, how much of a timeshare is that going to be as
Chris
far as their
Olave's been
target
playing
share?
good as well. So, I can see Nathan being a contender for sure, but in my honest opinion, I feel like he's going to eventually fall off when Keenan Allen gets back. His running backs may not keep it up. He's going to make the playoffs, I believe, but I don't think he's going to be a top three seed like he currently is right now. We'll go to one more team in this contender pretender as we're running out of some time here. Let's go to the Marvelous Lads and Cole Hurst. Sitting at 2-2. He's in the playoffs as the 5 seed right now. He has more points than the 4 seed currently by a whole lot. He actually has the second most points in the league, sitting at 2-2. What do you think Cole is a contender or is he a pretender?
Mm, I don't really like his bench that much. His running backs are very weak on the bench.
Yeah, they are pretty weak.
And
And
then he doesn't have a good substitute as far as receivers go.
he's probably going to end up being, there's a good chance he's 2-3 after this week. Naeem Hines got a concussion on his first run, and that sucks for him. And then Alan Lazard, he did okay today, this morning. But yeah, so you labeling Cole as a contender or pretender here?
I think he makes the playoffs, but I don't think he's as strong as what Nation's team was, or Nathan's team.
So Cole is a pretender to you. You think he's going to be a one and done, get in the playoffs, and he's out?
Well, I think it's a 16 playoff, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on who he's facing.
He's probably going to end up facing one of the top teams, or actually it's going to be he's going to end up facing a 3 or 4. So
I
as
think
of
right
now,
now he's 5-6. So
uh,
who's it going to be as far as the other?
he'd be facing either Nation or Seth.
Oh, well, I think he's going to be a one and done.
One and done. So I'm going to say that's a pretender in my opinion. Getting in the playoffs is hard. That's kind of hard, but if you don't win one game, it's a big letdown. Appreciate we're done with that segment there. Looking at your team, like I mentioned the trades earlier, I should ask you: is there anybody currently on the trade block that's a big name that you'd be willing to give up to add some depth to your team?
I wish I was. I was thinking of doing like a package, but my running backs haven't really panned out as much as I would like them to. So I think I'm kind of stuck at this moment. But hopefully, if I get some people healthy, and then if they start passing the ball more, I mean, the line's got to step up for the Steelers, but if they get that routed, maybe I have some people that, could put up a decent amount of points each week. But right now, my wide receivers are just killing me.
I will say you do have the top one of the top two tight ends in the league, and tight end is a big position that a lot of people lack. They could use a tight end and Mark Andrews. Is that somebody you'd be willing to trade to improve the receiver depth and maybe even something at the running back position?
It's definitely something I would consider as far as if, I could get someone comparable as receiver wise.
Yeah, because Mark Andrews, he seems to be the main guy. I know he had a rough week last week, but he seems to be the main guy in Baltimore, somebody that Lamar trusts. And that may not be a bad decision to try to get rid of him for some depth. I think it could really help your team out. Maybe look into it. Maybe guys listening will um, bite on Mark Andrews and send you some stuff because there's some guys out there with some good receivers sitting on their bench. And we'll see what happens, Gary. I think you're going to need to make some moves, move a big guy like him or Eckler to get some depth on your team. I don't think Noah Brown's going to do it for you. We brought it last place earlier with Nathan getting it 3 years in a row. You've been there before. You've done a punishment. They suck. Looking at the standings right now, who do you think's going to? We got 2-0-4 teams, and we got a 1-3 team. Do you think those guys are going to end up being in the last place game and getting last place?
Right now, if I don't get some people healthy soon, I could be right there with them. Definitely trending down at this moment.
That's very true. I mean, I think Brian's just had some pretty bad luck, but he does have the least amount of points, so I don't really know if that's bad luck, honestly. He's 0-4, but he's had some injuries. He's actually suffered what you've suffered in the past with people getting hurt quite often at the same time. My brother's team, he thinks that Dalvin Cook's the god of football, and he won't trade Dalvin Cook for some nice pieces. So I think he's going to end up. I think my brother's for sure going to be in last place because he's just afraid to make any moves. He thinks somebody's trying to screw him. I think Ty will pick it up eventually, and it could be you down there. It could be me. My team isn't good either. I have the second least amount of points. I've just gotten fortunate with the games I've had. I actually had a third. The least amount is Seth with number 4. And Brian doesn't even have the least, so I could see me or you falling down there too. I mean, that would suck, but I think I'm going to bank on my brother for sure being in there. If you did get last place, Gary, do you know the punishments? I know you don't look at the chat very often.
Not all of them off the top of my head.
So we got. I'll just run them down real quick. You got to wear a sign that says, "Ask me what I have to do. I got last place." And what you have to do is actually smell their breath and figure out what they ate. Yeah, and the punishment doesn't end until you smell at least 10 people's breath or you get it right. Then there's the golfing shame where you have to go play a round of golf dressed up in attire made of that's the 6 people in the playoffs choose for you. And then there's the wing challenge. You got to order 6 wings from 6 different restaurants with the 6 hottest sauces. And you have to eat those wings within a 30-minute time frame. Of those 3 punishments, which one would you choose?
Honestly, just because of expediency, I would probably do the wings.
Oh, we know you love some damn wings too.
No, dude, it's right up my alley.
But that's hot wings though. That's not just your typical mild wings you get when you usually go.
Yeah, I know.
You'll be having a burning butthole there. Well, Garrett, I appreciate you being on. It's a little past 1. I got to catch these games. You got things to do, and like I said, I appreciate you being on. Hope to get you on again eventually, and maybe your team will be in a better spot the next time I have you on here.
Sounds good, man.
All right, Garrett. See you later.